Hello students, welcome to the science online class. Today we will start a new chapter, that is chapter number 11, and the name of the chapter is Transport in Animals and Plants. In everyday language, transport means to carry things from one place to another. If you think about transport system in a country, then we can see that there are many vehicles which are used to carry the goods and people from one place of a country to another place. As for example, for these purposes, we are using train, trucks, buses, ships, etc. In biology, transport is a life process in which a material absorbed or made in one part of the body of an organism is carried to other parts in its body. We have learned earlier that all the living organisms need a continuous supply of different materials such as food, water, and oxygen for their survival. These materials must reach the various parts of an organism where they are needed. All the living organisms also produce some waste materials like carbon dioxide, etc., as a result of chemical process occurring in their body cells. These waste materials are harmful and have to be removed from the body. So, it is necessary that all the living organisms have some means of transporting materials from one part to another part within their body. All the living organisms, that means all the animals and plants, need a transport system to supply them with food, water, and oxygen, and to carry away the harmful waste materials produced in their bodies. Both animals and plants have their own transport systems for transporting materials within their body. In this chapter, we will learn about the transport system in animals and plants. Let us discuss the transport system in animals first. We need transport system when two cells are far away from each other. Materials needed to be moved from one place to another place. In most of the animals, the blood that circulates in their body transports food, water, and oxygen to cells in all the parts of their body. The blood also transports the waste materials made in the body cells to different parts of the body for excretion or removal. So, we can say that transport system in animal is very essential. All organisms need food, water, and oxygen for survival, so they need to transport all this. Wastes also need to be transported. The system carrying on this circulation, on this function, is called circulatory system. The main transport system in human being is the blood circulatory system. In the circulatory system, blood carries digested food, water, and oxygen to all the parts of the body. In human digestive system, the foods are digested and absorbed, and then it is transported to all the parts of the body by the blood. The blood circulatory system makes food, water, and oxygen available to every part of the body and helps in removing the waste materials of the body like carbon dioxide, etc. The human circulatory system consists of heart, blood vessels, and blood. In the circulatory system, the heart acts as a pump to push our blood. The blood vessels, that is, artery, veins, and capillaries, act as tubes or pipes through which blood flows in the whole body. We will now describe all the parts of the circulatory system in detail one by one. First, we will start with blood. Blood is a red colored liquid which flows in blood vessels and circulates in our body. Blood is red because it contains a red pigment called hemoglobin. Blood has many different cells which perform different functions. Blood consists of four components, that is plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. So students, we have learned that blood transports substances in the body. It has a fluid part called plasma and cells like red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. Red blood cells contain a pigment called hemoglobin which transport oxygen. Due to the presence of this hemoglobin, our blood is red in color. White blood cells fight against germs and protects us from diseases. Platelets help in clotting of blood. The liquid part of blood is called plasma. Plasma is a pale yellow sticky fluid. It is 90% water and 3.5% common salt. Plasma contains dissolved substances such as digested food and waste products like carbon dioxide and urea. Plasma carries water and dissolved substances such as digested food and waste products from one part to another part in the body. Red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets are immersed in this liquid called plasma. Now we will discuss about red blood cells. Red blood cells are red in color due to the presence of a red pigment called hemoglobin inside them. Red blood cells carries oxygen. Red blood cells carry oxygen from the lungs to all the cells of the body. It is actually the hemoglobin present in red blood cells which carries oxygen in the body. Hemoglobin binds with oxygen and transports it to all the parts of the body and ultimately to all the cells. If there is a deficiency of hemoglobin in the blood of a person, it becomes difficult to provide oxygen efficiently to all the cells of this body. It is the presence of hemoglobin which makes the blood appear red. Please note that most of the cells in blood are red blood cells. Now we will discuss about white blood cells. The white blood cells fight infection and protect us from diseases. This is because white blood cells help to fight against germs which may enter our bodies and cause diseases. Some white blood cells can eat up the germs like bacteria which cause diseases. Other white blood cells makes chemicals known as antibodies to fight against infection. White blood cells are much smaller in number than red blood cells. Now we will discuss about another blood cells in our body, that is platelets. Platelets are the tiny fragments of special cells formed in our bone marrow. Platelets help in the clotting of blood in a cut or wound. When a cut or wound starts bleeding, then platelets clot the blood make the blood semi-solid, due to which further bleeding stops. Suppose a child falls down while playing a game and his knee or any other body parts gets injured. Then blood starts flowing from the cut made by this injury. After some time, however, a dark red clot is formed which plugs the cut and bleeding stops. The blood clot which stops bleeding is formed due to the presence of the cells known as platelets in the blood. If, however, there were no platelets in the blood, then bleeding caused by a cut from an injury would not stop. This may cause loss of too much blood from the body of a person, leading to a death. Blood is needed by all the parts of our body because it performs some important functions. First of all, blood carries digested food from the small intestine to all the parts of the body. Blood carries water to all the parts of the body. Blood carries oxygen from the lungs to different parts of the body. It carries the waste products, carbon dioxide from the body cells to the lungs for breathing out. It carries a waste product called urea from the liver to the kidneys for excretion in urine. It protects the body from diseases. This is because white blood cells kills the bacteria and other germs which cause diseases. Platelets help in blood clotting. Blood circulates in our body in two forms, oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood. The blood carrying oxygen in it is called oxygenated blood. Thus, oxygenated blood is rich in oxygen. We get oxygenated blood in the lungs where the fresh oxygen of air passes into the blood. The blood having no oxygen in it is known as deoxygenated blood. The deoxygenated blood is formed in all the organs of the body except the lungs. This is because when the oxygenated blood passes through the organs of the body cells use up this oxygen and make it deoxygenated. The deoxygenated blood, however, carries carbon dioxide in it, which is produced during respiration in body cells. Thus, deoxygenated blood is rich in carbon dioxide. Oxygenated blood is bright red, whereas deoxygenated blood is darker. And to circulate this oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood, heart plays an important role. In our next class, we will learn about heart. So children, today this much. Hope you have understood this topic. Read the topic from your book also. Thank you children. Stay safe.